In order to attract love, we need to have love. Self-love, to be precise. And not self-love as in thinking you're the best thing since sliced bread, because there's a very clear difference between narcissism and self-love. Narcissism has an excessive sense of self-centeredness, an inflated sense of self-importance, one who expects the world to cater to their needs, with little regards for others, and always expects others to invest in them before they do any level of investing in them. Does that make sense? Whereas self-love is a healthy and positive regard for oneself, involving self-acceptance, self-worth, and self-care, about acknowledging one's strengths and one's weaknesses, being able to set boundaries, not just from other people, but also boundaries for themselves. This promotes inner happiness, self-fulfillment, and confidence. And part of self-love is being responsible for oneself, not just appreciating what we have to bring to the table, our strengths, but also recognizing the traumas that maybe we carry, taking responsibility for those traumas and seeing how it may affect when we're dating someone or trying to build a relationship with someone. So let's say, for example, I'd been cheated on, right, by the person I was in love with, and I was deeply hurt, angered, frustrated, all of the above. A devastating blow to my confidence, to my self-worth, and let's face it, my faith in humanity. So now, I have trust issues. Let's say I start dating this girl, and just because I see a male name come up in her phone as a text message, I then put the entire situation in jeopardy. I start to think, oh, why is he messaging her? What has she done to garner his attention? Does he know that she's dating me? I start to expect and put the standard on her that any male she comes into contact with, every other line must be met with, oh, she's spoken for because she's with me. When maybe this guy who did message her is a work friend, maybe it's her boss, maybe it's a relative. Honestly, I've seen self-sabotaging just because it was someone's sister. And you know what? Let's even say that this guy was messaging the girl I was dating because he is interested in her. Well, as long as she's not rising up to it and she's setting boundaries, then that shows a level of respect for what we have. But because now I have trust issues because of my past trauma, anytime she even talks to a guy that doesn't mention me, it becomes a problem. Is what we're asking from the other person something that we actually do ourselves? Is this ask we have of them coming from a place of want and desire, or is it coming from a place of lack and hurt? If we ask ourselves these questions and the standard that we're trying to impose on them isn't actually that reasonable, it's likely that we have some healing to do. And so acknowledging that and taking the steps to do that is part of our own self-love and care. Now, it's really often that we may not actually know when we are self-sabotaging a relationship that we're trying to build with someone or a relationship we already have. And if we're lucky, someone who we have dated previously or that we have argued with is honest to tell us why they found it difficult with us. A little feedback, if you will. Honestly, if feedback from everyone we previously dated was an actual thing, that would fast track everyone to become an amazing partner. So if you've heard any of these next 3 things about yourself from someone, it's very likely that you're self-sabotaging without knowing that you are. And thus may be time for you to invest in some self-healing and self-love. Number 1, avoiding emotional closeness. This is when we like to isolate ourselves emotionally as a defense mechanism. We may struggle to express our emotions towards someone, which results in a lack of connection and a lack of understanding between us both. We avoid closeness, we avoid intimacy, making it harder for the other person to cultivate a deep and meaningful connection. But we prefer that because them getting too close means they could hurt us more. The second sign, hypervigilance and defensiveness. Of course, looking out for warning signs is part of dating. We don't want to eliminate that vetting filter. But being on high alert and constantly scanning for potential threats is overkill. This means that we can be super defensive about things that really aren't a big deal, like annoyed that they didn't text us back within the hour, investing in their social media most nights, or them not telling every person of the opposite sex that they're with us. This just makes it really difficult for someone to have an open and honest conversation with us because they fear we're going to judge them and get defensive about it. And no one wants to feel attacked just for something that may not even be in their control. And the third side, which is everyone's favorite, trust issues. This looks like checking their phone when they go to the bathroom. Always keeping an eye when they're on their phone when they're standing or sitting right next to us so we can see what they're doing. Subtly always asking them to explain their relationship with everyone of the opposite sex to us. When we are constantly questioning someone's motives or actions, it destabilizes the foundation of the relationship because they will feel that they're just constantly being interrogated. Part of self-care is being our own parent, which means being able to choose what is best for us. And sometimes that looks like choosing the thing that we may not want, but we actually need. Facing emotions that we've been putting off for so long. Facing that person that we've been putting off. Facing our shortcomings and acknowledging that there are lessons to be learned from them. Because when we've done the work, we've made the investment to heal in ourselves, and we're aware of the things that maybe we are sensitive to, and we accept that and aware of that, and we handle that. This is when we truly start to attract the high quality right of person that we're looking to have a relationship with. The reason self-love attracts a great partner is because any issues or traumas you have that you work through, you very easily and quickly recognize somebody who has those things. Or equally, you see when you are choosing a toxic partner because of a trauma response. Like, oh, I chose this guy who barely gives me any attention because it reminds me of the feeling of when my neglectful dad never gave me any attention. Or I chose this guy only when he wants me sexually and desires me physically because I wasn't touched enough as a child by my parents and physical with them, that is the only way that I want to feel loved. When we get to the point of inner peace within ourselves, regardless of the environment or who we're with, life immediately gets better in regards to our connection to people, because everything comes from a place of peace and acceptance. The energy we give out to the universe is always the energy that the universe will give back to us. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next episode. And as always, keep it slick.